Normally on the Saturday we do a cook, but if in the event you fall upon a 22-inch grill that's absolutely free, so you go and grab it, maybe it needs a little restoration, this is the video that will help you out. I've heard that it's a 3-beer job, but we've already wasted an hour getting everything set up, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on this while the cook gets into the grill.
We're Whiskey and BBQ. Welcome to Q-Tips. A couple things you need for restoration. You're going to need some steel wool, triple O steel wool, Dawn dish soap, and a scraper. So if
not a wire brush scraper.
Not a wire brush scraper. I just use a plastic scraper. You can use like a razor blade for scraping stickers off windshields, things like that. Okay, so whenever you're going to get a grill that's free on Craigslist, there's a couple things you want to look at. Again, I have not seen inside of this yet, so I'm going to go over this and we're going to see if his facial expression changes. So a couple things you want to look for is, first and foremost, you want to make sure that the wheel spins and that the rivet on the top isn't loose, and you will look at the handle and see if the enamel and everything's cracking around it where someone's pushed down on it and that's starting to crack and rust. This one,
if you're a novice like me on grills, this wheel up here is your exhaust because the intake is underneath and that's where the air comes up, and then the exhaust is where the smoke comes out. I learned that.
Next thing you want to look for is pretty obvious, is everything at the bottom, does it have its ash catcher? Are the legs there? Are the wheels there? Things along those lines. That's going to be high.
We want to look at the bottom, right?
We go look and see if this is all still seen.
It's
perfect.
It's
still seen. Yes,
it's almost like I know what I'm doing.
Almost.
Almost.
All right, so this particular model, it just has the open pan ash catcher. I'm not a huge fan of these because as they fall down, things spray around. You've seen some of the other ones that have the enclosed ash catcher, but this is fine. And it's not difficult to add an enclosed ash catcher to these things. So the next thing you want to look at is down at the bottom. You'll see 3 ovals at the bottom where you want to make sure that there's not a lot of rust going through. You'll see this get all rusted out.
I got it.
The grate's in there still?
All good.
Okay. That's the next thing you want to look for. Check at the bottom, because right here and this entire portion here is what rusts out first. If you see that starting to flake and rust, you can still use it, but there's a lot of life that this grill doesn't have left in it anymore.
So how are we looking on this one so far?
Looking really good.
Okay.
The only other thing to look at on the outside is to make sure the lid sits straight. Make sure you don't have any gaps. Make sure it's not warped, because if you have one that's really warped, you're not ever going to get that straight.
It feels pretty good.
Yeah, this one, it sits nice and tight. It doesn't spin. Yeah, so far this thing looks solid.
Okay, here we go. We'll take you overhead.
Oh, very nice. This one's actually in really good shape.
Yeah?
Yeah. So charcoal grate.
I'm kind of pretty proud of that.
Yeah. Charcoal grate. These things normally always get kind of chewed up.
Right, so there's 2 grates in there.
Yeah.
The larger one sits up top where the food goes,
Yep.
and then the smaller one sits in the bottom where the charcoal goes.
Normally your charcoal grate, these are all completely rusted out and messed up. This one is not even really warped, so that one's got another couple of good years of life left in it.
Okay.
You good?
Excellent. So when I first pulled the lid off this thing, there was a mountain. You can see here, this where the ash was sitting. It was that high. It was practically touching your cook grate.
Yeah. So yeah, I would expect a lot worse. Getting into here, I can see a couple things that might be in a little bit worse shape than we would typically want, but really easy to replace. Really what you're looking for with Weber's is the bowl to be good. All the other little bits and pieces that move and spin and everything else, those are pretty cheap to replace. But you want the bowl and the lid to be good.
So do I move that thing by loosening this?
You grab, no, it should. So.
Oh, there, it's just nice and tight.
Yeah.
Good, all right.
Well, it's not supposed to be really nice and tight. It means there's a lot of rust in there. But
I can work on that.
Yeah, actually you're pretty good. It's just all caked up and solid. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna get the legs off of this thing. Whenever we come back, we're gonna have it sitting down in one of these wash pans, and I'm gonna teach Evan how to scrape and get down to the enamel.
Funny.
So basically all you're gonna do with this is it's real easy. You can start from the top and just scrape down. All you're doing is just getting all the big stuff out of the way. Once you get all that out and get everything knocked out, we're going to go back with the steel wool and some water and clean it up some more. this looks really good. I mean, it's nice and see, just doing that, you're good. This is actually a really good kettle. Kind of a side note, this table that we have this on, if you can find an adjustable height table, they're worth their money in gold, or worth their weight in gold, because like this one we can set down to 30, 36, or 40.
Nice.
And I really love this for whenever I'm cooking at competitions and cutting, because I can get it to 40 inches, which is normal countertop height.
Cool. And I learned some magic, so down in the description I would put a link to this exact table on Amazon, and you can have it there in a couple of days.
Yeah, we'll put the scraper and everything else, because you can get everything on Amazon.
Okay.
All right, let's put it down. Spray some Dawn in the bottom. Whenever you're filling it up, you want to go 5 or 6 inches worth of water in the bottom. That way you can get your steel wool wet while you're doing everything.
All right. So pretty much, just like you would do your bathtub, you get yourself nice and wet here on the steel wool, and you're going to start high and work your way low. That way all the dirt runs down instead of trying to scrub the bottom, and as you get to the top, the dirt falls right back down to where you've already scrubbed.
For some of these spots that are really kind of pesky, get a razor blade. This is just a regular razor blade and like a window scraper. And if they're really pesky, just gently scrape them. And with this, it's best to kind of go at an angle, because if you go straight down, you have a chance of digging into the bowl, where if you go at an angle, it's more of a flat surface.
The question that I've posed to the cook has been, why Weber? And he gave me a simple answer: because Weber has come out of the box. They got a 10-year warranty provided that you register them. So,
got to register them. But the very first place these things start to rust out, because you can see there's a pit there, but there's also 2 other indents right there. You see it directly across from it too. That's where they start to rust out, especially if you don't get
one right
Yep.
there.
That's where the legs are welded on. So
Okay.
this is the first place they'll start to rust out. And the ring around here, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's some pitting right here, and that's where the fan sat for so long. And because the fan was there, it let moisture in the underside, and right along that edge is where it was letting rust.
Okay.
So what saved this grill, to be completely honest, is the fact that fans were closed.
Okay, so it didn't let in as much.
Right, it didn't let in as much moisture. If they'd have been open, with how much stuff you said was in the bottom, this thing would have been toast.
Here's the formula: ash plus moisture, no bueno.
It makes carbolic acid. With grates, you have 2 choices. Either one, you get them really hot. This is the only time you'll ever see me use a wire brush on a grill grate. Scrub them down, get them relatively clean, and you're gonna have surface rust in a couple weeks. If it's a free find, go down to your local part store, Home Depot, Lowe's. We'll link it to the, we'll put a link in Amazon down below. Just buy you a new grate. They're like 25 bucks. Especially if you got a grill for free, get you a good grate to start off with. This is a cast iron grate. It's made by Craigslist. We'll link this down below. This has surface rust. This is cast iron. So it's just gonna be a thing.
So if you're gonna have your grill for 10 years,
Yeah.
having a forever grill grate that you can then take on to the next grill,
Yep.
probably worth it.
So now you get to season the cast iron. Have fun.
I can do that. I don't know how.
All right, I'm done with this. I gotta cook dinner.
All right, he's gonna go cook dinner. I'm gonna go season this.
We probably want to finish spraying all the soap and everything first.
Spray it out with soap.
Put it
and
back together.
Aaron put
do
it
that
together. And
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Wednesday we'll have a new whiskey. Until then, as the cook says, and as I learned, burn and learn.
Burn and learn.
That's a thing.
Craigslist is great. Find them cheap. You can refurbish them.